Are you ready to learn to get rid of stress in your life? To learn how to deal with the emotional turmoil that causes strokes, heart attacks, bad health, and even weight gain? Life-changing habits for work, family, and everyone you deal with start here with Andrew Wittman. It's time to get warrior tough. Here's Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman.
All right, it's time to get warrior tough, the most monumental hour in media anywhere. We're your leadership and mental toughness coaches, Andrew Wittman and the Dutch Coleman.
Hello. Man, I'm excited about this week, man. I'm really looking forward to this conversation today.
I know, we're doing your favorite. This is your favorite topic. Of all the stuff that we do in all of our seminars and all of our coaching, I think this is your favorite. Would that be a fair assessment?
That's probably fair. I mean, that's a fact.
And you do this better than anybody I've ever met, and you did it in sports talk radio, which is just amazing. And if anybody has listened to Dutch over the years on sports talk radio, you probably know about what we're about to talk about. And if not, you've seen it happen in action in Dutch's real life, real time. Right? I mean, that's rubber meets the road. You just do it. You know, I love it. So, all right, well, let's unveil it. We're going to talk about facts and truth tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
Facts and truth.
I think I kind of gave it away.
Probably.
But and then that's only for the people that have heard us discuss it before. But hopefully you haven't. This is something that could potentially blow you away and can be something that you'll be using for the rest of your life.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you and I were talking about this when we were doing our show prep call earlier today, which, by the way, this is funny, right? So I called you, and it's 72 degrees in South Carolina today, and you answered the phone. You're like, I'm making dinner. The kids are out of school. It's snowing. I'm like, in State College, it must be a blizzard for the kids to be out of school because it ain't South Carolina, right? I mean, so.
Oh, yeah. It has to be significant for us to be out of school up here. And it was significant. And it may go into tomorrow. We're not sure yet. We'll find out in the morning. But it's not fun. I can tell you that.
Right. And then my wife yells out on the phone, Dutch, it's 72 down here. And I'm not sure, but I think shut it was what the other came across the air. I don't know what happened. You told her to shut it. Shut it.
No.
Oh, no. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about facts and truth today. Listen, if you want to get in on the conversation, because this is going to be a great conversation, you could use the hashtag #GetWarriorTough on the Twitter, or you can find Dutch at the Dutch Coleman, and I am at Warrior Tough PhD. Of course, the website getwarriortough.com, and you could reach out to us via any of the ways on the web. There's a plethora of ways to get a hold of us, Dutch. LinkedIn, Facebook,
Absolutely.
YouTube channel. Yeah, it's just out there. Okay, so before we get into I got this, and I shared this with you, I want to say it was like a week or two ago, maybe a week or two ago, I got this email. And I'm going to kind of scrub the details, sanitize it like I do with my stories for you guys who have been in my seminars. So because I don't really have permission to read this on the air from this person. So, but I want you to understand how powerful and impactful this stuff is when you just Forrest Gump it, when you just do the work. All right, so I got to say, hey, dear Andrew, I know this is silly, but I wanted to check in with you. I think my time with you worked too well. Now, and then laugh out loud. It gave me so much of an edge with the clients, our customers, that my peers started to feel threatened. Now, I want to tell you, the time this person had with me, Dutch, was a 2-day training. That's it. There was no follow-up coaching. There wasn't by the book. All they did is they went through 2 days. 2 days. And it was one of our seminars that we do where a bunch of companies come, or they send, they send 2 or 3 people. So it wasn't necessarily open to the public. So it wasn't just like people were there for business reasons, but it was a bunch of different companies. So it was generalized training. I'll say it that way. It wasn't specific to her company.
Right.
So my project manager, the project I was working on, felt threatened. And even though I was the alternate, my project manager felt like maybe I was pushing them out, which I wasn't. I really pride myself on not being number one, but being number one at being number two. Right, so I'm the second in command. I'm the backup. I pride myself on being the best number two that's out there. which is really cool. So things came to a head when I was asked to get on board with something that I felt was questionable, and I refused to compromise my reputation. Because I refused to get on board, they couldn't move forward. 4 months later, I put in my resignation. Things had become weird. I didn't act the fool. I didn't say anything ugly or critical about the folks that I work with. But you know when the writing is on the wall, and I chose to leave on my own terms. I had a feeling that I was about to leave on theirs. Laugh out loud. This is awesome, right? So that was hands down the best decision I ever made. Because during my time on these projects, I made such an impression on the clients, I ended up receiving a phone call 2 weeks later from one of our former clients that I'd worked with. He had heard a rumor, quote, quote, that I had left my position, which I confirmed. He offered me a job on the spot, making $37,500 more a year than I was making before. Now, Dutch, you know I've said this is CEO of you. I'm never afraid to get fired because I know I could take my services and lease them wherever I go. The boss isn't my boss. The boss is my customer. And there are times when the customer becomes so difficult that you fire the customer, you move on, right? Mm-hmm. And I used Peyton Manning. I remember this class that I was in. I was Peyton Manning. It was the big Peyton Manning, right before he retired. I used that as an example of when he got fired from the Colts. I said, was he looking for another job, or were other jobs looking for him?
Absolutely.
Was he interviewing for a job, or was he interviewing where he wanted to go? Right. Mm-hmm. And so this lady took it serious, and she took it literal, both literal and serious, and went to work. And she said, I learned a lot from you in those 2 days, and I learn a lot whenever I watch your shows. So she watches the shows on YouTube. Hey, what's up? Shout out. I wasn't going to compromise myself to please the masses. My work would speak for itself in the end. Sometimes I wonder if you know, Andrew, how life-changing your words can be to someone who is willing to listen. I wonder what this world would be like if more people did. I really hope you reach more and more people with your message. You're being provided with so many new vehicles now. I hope the message gets out there. It's right. It's motivating. It's truly inspiring. I'm not sure I would have done the exact same thing in that day of the meeting if I wasn't exposed to what you had taught me. I'd like to think I would, but I know that's only because it makes me feel good inside. I'm just blown away by this, right? So, she is right that we are being provided with more vehicles to get our message out there. And one of them is, at the beginning of the year, I signed on to be a contributor to the Huffington Post. And a second article, that was my first one came out first week of January. Another one, we just put out another one. The Post just put it up yesterday. How to live in an alternative fact world is the column. And I would like for us to discuss it tonight. Would that be all right, Dutch?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this goes right into the facts and truth thing. So I'm just going to start reading. You interrupt whenever you feel like you got to say something, man. So
okay.
All right. So the title of the article is How to Live in an Alternative, quote, quote, Fact World. The furor over fake news and alternative facts and alternate facts is fast reaching a crescendo in our national consciousness. My colleagues in the media seem to be in shock and awe at the honest confession of the Trump administration of the practice of picking and choosing the bits of data that confirm, justify, and even prove their position. But as it turns out, this isn't really all that new. This has been going on since the beginning of humans. It's how the human machine works, specifically how the human brain, the hardware, interacts with the mind and emotions, the software. The only shocking thing is that Trump, who is not a politician, openly admits to what every administration in the past 20 years has done. Select only the, quote, facts that prove their truth.
You might want to repeat that. Select. Start at select.
Select only the facts that prove their truth. And this is what folks do. Select only the facts that prove their truth.
So you're using those as two different things. You said facts and truth, right?
Facts and truth. Two different
Select
entities.
only the facts that prove their truth. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the Obama administration chose the alternate fact of an obscure video to prove their truth about Benghazi. The Bush administration chose an alternate fact of yellow cake purchase to prove their truth about Iraq. The Clinton administration chose an alternate fact of what the definition of is, and on and on. Every human being does this by default. So let's not judge anyone, okay? Just understand, and don't be saying not me, because we already every. Did I leave out anybody when I said every, Dutch? No, no. Every human being does this by default. In psychology, it's called confirmation bias. What we do is we non-consciously choose to focus on information that agrees with our own opinions, our beliefs, and we choose to focus in on the information that justifies our actions, and we discard anything that would go against our genius self.
And if you don't believe that, then think about yourself and what you do every day. Think about who you follow on Twitter, who you're, what news channels you watch, the type of conversations you have with your friends, who you're inviting to your parties. Like a lot of things, just the arguments themselves. When people offer you data that goes against what you believe, how we give data of our own that does support what we believe, completely ignoring what we just heard. So this is what we all do, as Andrew said. This is what every human being does. Is what the machine does. It's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. This is just what the machine does.
Yeah, I was joking with somebody. I said, this started like with that story about the apple and Adam and Eve and that snake in the garden, man. And that story is like it's a perfect story to illustrate human beings, right? The woman blamed the snake. The man blamed the woman, everything. It's always somebody, and you only focus in on the stuff that justifies you. Let me say that again, justifies you, right? And puts the blame somewhere else. And we don't want to have anything, I always say, never confuse me with the facts. We don't want any facts that are inconvenient.
And this is not to tell anybody they're right or wrong for you to go, as you say, judging folks or getting after folks. This is just to let you know what's going on. The more you understand about what's happening, the better you can prepare yourself. The better you are at accepting people and not judging them, because you understand what's going on, and it may better help you shape an argument or be involved in a discussion. Because you're not attacking and abusing someone because of what they're doing, because most likely you're doing the same thing. And if you can identify that, maybe you can create a path that's going to help you better effectively communicate with them, because you, of all people, understand what is going on in the moment.
And that's key, is that you understand how the machine works, what's going on. So we're kind of looking at this from a 50,000 foot, like clinical level, if you will, and saying, look, this is how humans, this is how they operate. This is how the mind, which is the mind and emotions, right, the software, interacts with the brain and the body, which is the hardware, right? And then we pick and and Dutch, we've said it 100 times on this show. We take in 11 million bits of information per second. Only 126 is filtered down to our conscious mind for action. The way that we choose the 126 is that confirmation bias mechanism. It is our opinions. It's our beliefs. It's our attitudes. It's what our feelings are at the moment. It's our experiences. And that's how we pick and choose that little itty-bitty piece of data, which is less than 1% of what we take in every second.
Hey, man, we got about 20 seconds left. I can't wait to get really going. This is just an introduction. Can't wait to this next segment where we really start digging in.
20 seconds times 11 million bits. It's too much math for me to do in 20 seconds. Oh, my gosh. That's awesome. All right, so we're up on the first break. You're listening to the Get Warrior Tough radio show with Dutch and Andrew, and we'll be right back.